Hi guys, so welcome and welcome back to my True Senses. And today's gonna be a more chilled series, which I'm gonna be doing on Wednesdays. So let's just get right into it. We can all agree that life does what life does. Like you can just wake up one morning and everything seems like they're just going sideways. You even like wondering why did I even like I wish I didn't wake up even this morning because things are just going the other way. It may not be everything, can just be maybe one thing or two things, but I don't know how our human brains were made because sometimes they tend to focus so bad on the negative and on the bad things, and you lose focus of even the good things and the things you're supposed to be grateful for. Trust me, I am speaking this out of experience. It could be just one thing that has gone wrong, and my brain just comes up with all these other things like, why did your ex now leave you? Why did this now go wrong? Why didn't you get that as a job? Why did you like it just it now brings up all the bad things that have happened. And now instead of thinking just a bad day, you're not thinking it's a bad life. We can all agree sometimes our brain does that. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just maybe when we go to heaven. Yes, don't come for me for saying that. But yes, maybe that is a question you can ask God because at this point, I don't really understand why the brain can the way it works and just does that. It just decides to go on the negative all the time. Like when something goes wrong, it just it starts pulling all the other bad things, and then you sort of have this visual tunnel, like you can't see anything good, like everything else that has happened good, even if it happened yesterday or a few minutes, it's like it forgets all that. And sometimes it's unfortunate that that's just the way life is. Like things cannot just be flowing smoothly all the time. Sometimes it's work, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's relationships, sometimes it's your home, and sometimes it's all of them combined. And that is the day you are damned. You are doomed. Yeah, but yeah, and in all those when this happens, I have I've decided that yes, this is what I do on days like those, because I have days like those, and sometimes it's really bad when I don't remember the habits and the things that I am also speaking about, and I just decide like today I'm not going to get out of this bed. Today I'm not going to speak to anyone. I know those are bad coping mechanisms. In fact, I know I have the like me when I'm going through something, I just don't want to talk to anybody about it. I just even if maybe if we're supposed to meet, I'm just going to say like let's just cancel. I'm not feeling well. If you ask me why, I am not explaining. Mm-mm. Don't ask me. In fact, don't dare ask me because I am not going to tell you. It's a really it's not a good habit. Of course, we are all work in progress. We're all working to be better, and that's why we are here to talk. Just to see how better we can improve ourselves in terms of how we deal with things that come to us in life. Because mental health is about how you handle things around you, be it relationships, be it your job. Like, how are you relating with everything? Like, are you the kind of person who, when one thing goes wrong, you're just gonna be like, well, that's I close everything and now I want to die? Well, to be honest, I have been one of those people, and we are still working on it. As I said, we are all work in progress. So how you relate with all these things really speaks a lot about how your mental health is doing. So as I said, we are all working progress. So even me, I'm working progress. So me not speaking to anybody or wanting to share what I'm going through, it's not a good habit, and we are working towards changing that to be able to speak out. And maybe because sometimes even when you speak out, like talking about something that you're going through, when you're telling the other person, in fact, it's not that you're looking for a solution. Even the person you are telling the thing might not be able to offer you any solution, but just sharing might be able to make you feel better. Or you don't even have to talk about the issue, like at least talk to somebody. It doesn't have to be about that issue. It can be a different thing, like even catching up with a friend who you've not talked in a long time, or even going out for a little bit to just take a walk to see everything, like to just take your mind off that thing that you think is wrong and you think that has gone wrong. Like take your mind off of it. At least it releases some tension on you. I would for me, I would say that sort of works sometimes when you just, even when my friends, like when they call me later on, wow, when my friends call me later on, I am very clear. Do not ask me what was wrong with me. And they know not to go right into asking. Like, let's just talk about other things. And maybe slowly and eventually, whatever was bothering me is going to come up in this conversation. Or it may not even come up, but at least you've talked to me, you've seen, like, I've taken my mind off whatever that was bothering me, or whatever was going on in that moment or in that time. So we were really deviated from what I was saying before, but the thing is, we all have those bad days where life is doing the most, and some of the habits you practice are not good. Are you the kind of person who shuts everybody out and doesn't want to speak, like some of us here? Are you the kind of person who does not want to eat at all? Are you the kind of person who just throws in the towel and just wants to give up everything? Because I've been one of those people, and so I just, okay, I can't explain why that happens, but we are trying to be better at that. We're trying to adapt better more coping mechanisms. So some of the things that I have seen work for me is, at least did I get out of bed? At least did I make it out of bed that day? We can call that a win for that day. Did I eat? At least did I eat? And eating, for me, eating sometimes will mean like going out. So at least I went out and got some, some air, saw some different. Because what happens, unless you are living with other people, like your family or your spouse or whoever you're living with, if you are living alone, then sometimes if you don't go out to buy food or go out, you can actually spend hours without talking to anybody. I have actually spent almost 48 hours without leaving my house. I've not talked to anybody. Well, I have talked to myself, which I do several times, but like I've not talked to any human. So I'm just in my head. And sometimes being in your head too much cannot be the best thing to do when you're going through something or when you're suffering through something. It actually isn't the best to just be in your head. Sometimes even going out to just take a walk to see the outside can bring a new perspective into what you're feeling. So I find that to be very helpful. Did I eat? At least I went out, I saw some people, like I just breathed even new air. Like it might give me a different perspective. Of course, it's not going to make everything better, but yes. And in that moment also, especially when it comes to emotional things, I have decided that I'm not going to react to how I feel, because sometimes sometimes how we feel and how things are really, it's not one and the same thing. You can be feeling this and the reality of things is so different. But in that moment, your emotions are so heightened that you really can't see past your emotions. And sometimes when we are that emotional, we act in a really, so the way we react might not be the best. We have people who shout, we have people who break things, people who fight each other. Like, yes, personally for me, I cry. I cry. If you know me, then you know I cry all, like every minor inconvenience. Crying is the solution. Crying is I would say that that is better than the people who shout or fight or throw things, because it's just calm. It's just calm. I remember a time when I used to get really emotional about something that my partner has done, and I write these long messages. I have nothing against those people who write. If you're writing those long messages, well and good for you. But the content was the issue for me, because it was not content that made sense. Sometimes it can be me who's hurting but I'm the one who's apologizing and even like asking them like, now why, now why did, what did I do for you to, what did I do to deserve this? Like, me, probably I'm not good enough for you. You see those kind of things. This is me reacting to my emotions and expressing even my insecurities. You see, and it was not the best kind of reaction. As for now, I've learned that when I am that emotional, I just, let me not react. Let me not. Apart from crying has to be there. Crying is always on the table. Trust me, crying top shelf. But I will not text or write anything to anybody. Even let's say if somebody is the one who has hurt me, like I won't do that. I'll just, let me process these emotions. If I feel the same way tomorrow that you've hurt me, if I feel the same way tomorrow, because sometimes how I feel, it's just an overthinking kind of, like, it's just my mind has overthought about so many things and asking a lot of scenarios that are not even true. So tomorrow, when it's a new day, you look at things and just like, that what I thought is actually isn't that. And I'm just very glad I did not text anybody or call anybody. But if it's really genuine concern that you've hurt me, then I will tell you about it the next day or even days later. When I have clarity, when I'm not emotional, you see, even my content and everything, how I express myself, of course, through text will be better, because me expressing myself in person emotionally, waterfalls, like I've said, waterfalls. Yeah, but I have found that that is the best way to deal sometimes with things, because we can all agree that life is just like things that could go wrong. You wake up one day and they've gone wrong. And you don't have to be so hard on yourself, because what people portray and what they're really going through are two different things. So don't be so hard on yourself, because people are going through a lot of things and they don't express it that much or show it to to the social media or even to their friends. And sometimes it's just easy, like, just take things slow. Like on those bad days, have you gotten out of bed? Have you eaten? Have you even made your bed? Have you, like, sorry, on those days, the small wins really count. Like, even waking out of bed is a win. Like, I was feeling so bad, but at least I didn't cry for 1 hour, 2 hours. I just cried for 30 minutes, and that's a win as well. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. That is what I'm trying to say. There's no solid plan of how you can handle things when things go bad, but at least we can all try and minimize the damage, you know, and get out of our heads first of all, because in that moment we've all agreed that we have tunnel vision and all this negativity will come, and that is where building a positive mindset comes into place. Because if you've been able to build that through maybe reading or, you know, getting inspirational stories or knowing that you're not alone in these, like, all those things will help you not think that you're suffering alone. Like, I have, like, like, when you're going through that, sometimes your mind tends to show you that you're the only one, and that you wonder, now, why is this happening to me? Why is my life like this? But one thing you have to know, that it's not your fault. It's just life. We just have to agree that it's just life. Life can be hard, life can be challenging, life can be tough. It's just life. And it's not a bad life when you're going through that. It's just a bad day. It's just one of those bad days. Your life is not bad. Those days, and when you're going through something, we've all agreed, even me, that we're going to practice better coping mechanisms. At least talk to somebody, even if it's just something really different. Like, check up on somebody. In the midst of checking up, they come up with a story, and sometimes it will take your mind off whatever that was bothering you. Even take a walk, even just walk up the stairs and back, or even to the shop and back. It can really change your perspective on how things are going, because trust me, sometimes staying in your mind too much, especially if you live alone, it really does not help the situation you're going through. And that is all from me today. Bye.